Hello, welcome to the fourth ever episode of Ask an Atheist. Ask an Atheist, we are a live educational program every week on SCANtv here in Seattle. We are an educational program dedicated to atheism, skeptical inquiry, and the separation of church and state. My name is Mike Gillis, and with me this week is Sam Mulvey. How are you doing, Sam?
Pretty good. Good afternoon.
All right. I think one of the big questions we're probably wondering is, what is an atheist?
And that's pretty simple. It's one of the easiest definitions to do when you're talking about philosophies or religions. And an atheist is someone who doesn't believe in God. Fin. That's it. It doesn't really say much about anything else. Now, socially and philosophically, there's usually things that come with that. Disbelief in the supernatural, disbelief in just religions in general. But really, the core definition is we don't believe in God, and that's it.
I think that for Western atheists, I think one of the big things that you'll see is that there really is this huge overlap between skepticism and atheism. And I think that for me at least, and I think for Western atheists, atheism tends to be a subset of skepticism. I think that generally what you see is that this is just us applying skeptical principles to the God question. So it isn't, and the other thing too is I think there's a real misconception. A lot of people seem to think that atheists are asserting lack of existence of a God with 100% certainty. This just isn't the case. We don't know any more than anyone else does. I think that just the difference is I think it's just so unlikely and so improbable that I just don't think it's even worth talking about, really.
I do believe we have a question that sort of addresses that a little later on.
Yeah, definitely.
Specifically the overlap between skepticism and atheism. I know today you have the two of us. We're both skeptics and we're both atheists. So
indeed,
there is some significant overlap there.
All right, we have some quick announcements to make. Again, next week is the 4th of July, and that means the Northwest Free Thought Coalition is going to be doing their annual picnic, their summer potluck. This is going to be at Ravenna Park. That's at 2000 Northeast 58th Street in Ravenna, just south of the 20th Avenue pedestrian bridge. Potluck is from 1 to 3 p.m., a program at 3 o'clock, clean up at 5. Should be a lot of fun and should be a lot of good food. So we expect to see you there. Since you might notice this happens during our time slot next week, we're actually going to be playing a rerun, so we won't be back live next week, but we will be back on the 11th.
We'll be partying.
Also, I know that just a couple weeks ago, one of our producers, Casey Duran, actually made a challenge to Matt Dillahunty, who's one of the hosts of, I guess, our sister program, the Atheist Experience in Austin, Texas. I'd like to sweeten the pot of that. Casey wanted to challenge Matt to an Xbox Live game of Street Fighter II. Now, I will warn you, Matt, that Casey is really good at this game. I believe he's actually a world champion based on points. So this is a little thing that, and I know, Matt, we've talked to you through email, and you've sort of said that you might think that there'd be no real interest in people watching this. I disagree. So I'd like to ask people at anyone who might be viewing us over the internet to give them an email at tv@atheist.community.org, atheist-community.org, and let Matt know that you'd actually like to see this showdown. I think it'd be a lot of fun. And Matt, just to sweeten the pot, I'm prepared to offer up a prize for whoever wins this contest. I got this on eBay a few years ago, and I've given most of these away as gag gifts. But I actually have an audio cassette from 1988, Pat Robertson's presidential run. It's an audio cassette entitled "What I Will Do as President." I think it should be comedy gold, and I think that you'd like to do that. At the very least, after we're done, we can rip an MP3 of that, and anyone can watch and listen to it. I imagine it's hilarious. So, all right, and also if anyone who has a local Free Thought group is interested in getting mentioned on our show during our announcement segment, give us an email. Go to askanatheist.tv and we'll see if we can get that, there we go, up on the screen. Just drop us an email there or ask us any sort of question. But if you're a local Free Thought group and you'd like to get a little bit of a mention, drop us an email and we'll see what we can do. So let's talk about some news stories that are happening.
Okay, we'll start out with a bang. The first one, this comes from the Mother Nature Network, is where we originally found this, and the Pope is blaming atheists for global warming. And Pope Benedict, XVI, thinks the flying spaghetti monster and his noodly followers are causing global warming. In a recent speech about the environment, the pontiff blamed atheists for being greedy Earth raiders, which sounds like an Atari 2600 game when I think about it.
Oh yeah, tons of pixels.
Here's the full quote. Is it not true that inconsiderate use of creation begins where God is marginalized, or also where his existence is denied? If the human creature's relationship with the Creator weakens, matter is reduced to egoistic possession, man becomes the final authority, and the objective of existence is reduced to a feverish race to possess the most possible. You can actually find a transcript of the entire speech at Catholic.net, and that's about really all there is to it. And I don't quite understand this. Is this just a way to get news off of what is in the news about the Catholic Church these days? There was a recent raid on a church in Belgium, like a police raid, and the Belgian church is going along with it, but we're not seeing anything like that here.
Or at the Vatican either.
Or at the Vatican.
They can rush in there with their with a SWAT team, maybe roll a flash grenade and get in cardinal law.
Yeah.
See how well those guys in the pantaloons with the pikes can hold off a SWAT team. I imagine not well.
And this is really difficult for me because I always felt, ever since they did, was it an encyclical about the environment or something like that? Mm-hmm. Ever since the Catholics did that, I thought that was the one subject matter that we could agree on and get together and work together on. Because most of the atheists that I've met tend to be very worried about the environment and our use of said resources. And here in America, as far as I've been able to tell, most of the people who are against, who are global warming deniers and any environmental problem whatsoever deniers, usually come to that with a evangelical Christian sort of basis. And I thought that was like...
Yeah, there's a real irony in that. I think that if you look at the people who are screaming things like drill, baby, drill, it tends to be the people who deny global warming. And it's funny because they talk about how not believing in a God will make you more likely to look at the environment as a commodity to be exploited. And generally speaking, that comes from people with that evangelical base. Some of them almost outright. There was a congressman who, in a congressional hearing, I forget what his name was, some lunatic from somewhere, actually said that he did not believe in global warming for a biblical basis, saying that God had promised not to drown the earth again, therefore global warming could not be true.
But you don't have to drown the earth to drown New York.
Yes.
It doesn't take much. And that's the thing, is that a lot of the arguments I hear about this have to do with the upcoming end of the world, which has been happening since about 70 AD, I think, we've been waiting for.
Yeah, we've been in the end times since the beginning times.
Welcome. And the thing is I think they're basically just spamming the media to get attention away from the thing which everybody's thinking about. Because a week before that, the Vatican officially endorsed the Blues Brothers movie. And this is from the Hollywood Reporter. And when Jake and Elwood Blues, the protagonists in John Landis' cult classic The Blues Brothers, claimed they were on a mission from God, the Catholic Church apparently took them at their word. In the 30th anniversary of the film's release, okay, I'm going to have some trouble with this, La Osservatore Romano.
Yeah, I think it means like Roman Observer.
Yeah.
I think it's actually a less reputable newspaper than the Hollywood Reporter.
The Roman New Times. The Vatican's official newspaper called the film a Catholic classic and said it should be recommended viewing for Catholics everywhere. The story goes on, but the great part of this is that with the recommendation, the Blues Brothers joins a list of dozens of films recommended by Catholic authorities that include Cecil B. DeMille's The Ten Commandments, pretty good movie, Jesus of Nazareth from Franco Zeffirelli, Mel Gibson's The Passion of the Christ, and Victor Fleming's Joan of Arc, and, okay, I'm good with this, It's a Wonderful Life from Frank Capra. The Passion of the Christ, I saw it, and it was as far as I could tell, it looked like a snuff film to me.
It's a total Christian snuff film. It's like Faces of Death with Jesus in it.
It doesn't help that the first time I saw it was with the Benny Hill music on YouTube. And that really, I think, salted things for me. But I'm okay with them endorsing the Blues Brothers. It's a pretty good film.
I love the Blues Brothers. I think it's certain irony in the fact that they're actually endorsing a film with a number of Catholic criminals.
That's it. Everything they like about at least 70% of the film is